Okay.
Bullshit me.
Hello, internet fans, and welcome to another episode of the Buddies Forever live hangout. Not just a live horror hangout anymore. That's right.
Stream.
Damn,
It's a Buddies Forever live stream.
we went back to
We're
calling it
trying.
Buddies Forever. And it's been a good 3 weeks, so we've missed you guys. And we're back. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but I got my good buddy Evil here with me, and I got Mr. Remix on the ones and twos, keeping me and Evil afloat. But here we are. It is that time again to jump back into another film or documentary or whatever. And this week, Evil, I'm gonna let you just explain what's happening, because it's been about a year since we did our We Want to Believe month. Full circle, goddammit.
We still want to believe. we refuse to give up hope that we believe. So, since we constantly go back to talking about how much fun it was to do that month of cryptids, aliens, and whatnot, I was like, well, I'd love to go back there. I know you'd like to go back there, so why not go there and just be on easy street for me? Let's talk about one of my favorite Fox specials that came on back in the day, back when we actually watched television at specific times.
Yes.
And man, this thing blew away so many records. I believe it was shown at least 3 times on network television and gained almost 12 million views when watched. But tonight, we're going to be talking about the documentary, faux documentary, the story, whatever it is behind Alien Autopsy. Fiction.
Oh yeah.
Can I be the mediating voice as I always am? It's fake. It's fake.
Of course, you can say it's fake all you want. Oh, and Strange Monkey Reviews right out the gate with a $5 super chat. So Evil, bust out that hot sauce. It's been literally a hot minute. Ah ha ha. See what I did there?
What? What did you do there? What am I breaking out?
The hot sauce.
The what?
The hot sauce.
What?
The hot sauce.
All right.
You're having a good time with that little button.
I'm having a great time. During the 3 weeks off, we have advanced some of our tech, or at least trying to around here. So, new bells and whistles for the new era of the 3V Video Buddies Forever live stream. But yes, we're talking the fact or fiction alien autopsy story that came out on August 28th, 1995. 11 months before Independence Day, I believe, was supposed to hit theaters in July 3rd of 1996. So somehow a year before that movie came out, alien fever was just out there. Plus, you had, X-Files was really kind of, getting
popping.
Oh yes, X-Files was the shit.
And I gotta interject also, because I don't know the exact air run date of that McPherson tape that I had you watch, but in my mind's eye, I see it happening right around that same time. I want to say 94, 95, and the McPherson tape might have actually been created out of the love for this alien autopsy. Remix shaking his head. What year did McPherson tape come out?
McPherson tape came out in 1989.
1989, but it was aired on TV when I was just a wee little lad, and it was also very much like this alien autopsy, presented as 100% real footage, and Remix is already over here in the wings saying it's fake. Evil's done his fair amount of research. So what say you, the crowd? We've got a handful of people in here, 10-ish. It keeps fluctuating. But what say you? Is this fact or fiction? Because I just recently picked up this DVD since Evil said, we got to talk about this, and you could watch it for free on YouTube if you are so inclined. And I said, no, I need to own it. So I picked it up.
I needed to.
Yes, and both of us picked it up because you got to have it, right? And upon my rewatch, there's a lot of things in here, man, that that I have a hard time seeing as fake. Like, and one which I'm gonna butcher it, but is the fabric, the metal. What were they calling it?
Well, I can't remember what they called it in the special, but among ufologists and MUFON investigators, it's commonly referred to as the memory metal.
There you go.
The metal that is about the size that looks like the foil that comes out of a cigarette pack. They said it's about that size, about that kind of weight and kind of feel to it. But it's a metal that if you held it in your hand, they said almost like it would melt in your hand. You couldn't even tell it was in your hand. But it's a metal that could not be scraped, burnt, broken, cut, anything. That's using the stove at the highest settings it could be to try to burn it, and using a sledgehammer to try to bend or break it, and it just would not go.
And in the photos that there's some famous photos in this documentary, resembles aluminum foil. Not gonna lie, kind of resembles like a space blanket. Like, you can buy space blankets. They have that type of a look to them, right? But the way they're describing this is that it can be crunched up, and then when you let go of it, it takes its shape again. Now, aluminum foil, that's not true, right? So aluminum foil, you'd be sitting there forever fucking trying to unfold it. But
we do not have that technology even in 2021, let alone 1947.
Right.
But yeah, this was, and they don't outright say it, but I mean, they just tie it with the time that the footage supposedly was out, is tying it to the Roswell incident, which, don't know the story of the Roswell incident, is supposedly a UFO or UFOs. It's hard to get an exact story down, because all the story is nowadays is just eyewitness accounts, which is, from watching all your criminal shows, is eyewitnesses are the worst possible.
Fill in the blanks.
Yes, and this is from at least 600 different people, ranging from ranchers to radio personnel to military personnel, which people like to tend to put military personnel in as in straight shooters, no bullshitters. But,
come on, don't bullshit me.
We unfortunately sometimes have some of that bullshit. But the story is, in early summer of 1947, UFOs were just getting seen left and right all around in certain areas of the United States. So UFO fever was kind of gripping the nation. And in early July, I think around July 3rd, 1947, there was some storms going on in this town outside of Roswell known as Corona. And there's a ranch out there, the Foster Ranch, run by Mac Brazel, or Brazel, however the hell you want to say.
I don't know.
Mac Brazel. And his youthful ward, which you hardly ever hear about, is that he had like a young kid that was assisting him named D. Proctor.
Yeah.
Who apparently he didn't want to hear about none of this shit. Like, if you even brought up the Roswell incident to him, he was said to have, quote, run out of the room, not interested in talking about this shit at all. He didn't want to hear nothing about it. But we supposedly had this UFO or UFOs crash on his ranch. He was a sheep rancher, kind of pissed off because he would try to herd his sheep. Sheep would not cross where this all this debris was on his field, which was 3/4 of a mile long and several hundred feet wide. Left I think 500-foot gouge in the land, and was said to be something that was coming in so hot that landed, turned the sand of the area to glass.
Good Lord.
Of course, this is all eyewitness shit, so Mac's just more annoyed that he can't get his sheep to cross this stuff.
Now,
they won't even hear it.
1 second, let me interject just real quick. Is this the fella that that brought the pieces of the debris into his kitchen? Is this guy?
No, this is that you're thinking of Jesse Marcel, and I can't remember the name, the other guy that was with him. The two guys that were sent out from the military to investigate this. Okay, they're the ones that collected some of that debris and brought it in.
So continue, and then we'll get to Jesse Marcel.
Yeah. It takes a bit to get to Jesse. So Mac's annoyed he has this shit. He loads some of this stuff up into his truck. Now Mac Brazel has no electricity, no nothing. He lives in a one room shack. Mm-hmm. So he has no contact to the outside world, so he does not know about UFO fever gripping the nation. his only source of stuff going on was a weekly newspaper, I think, that came around. So that was the extent of his knowledge of what's going on. So
one more
he was
interjection. One more interjection
Yeah.
from W. Stein 79, which is this is a popular belief, so we're gonna get to that. Says it's a weather balloon. This
we will get.
this is a very common thread amongst the people that talk about it, right?
Yeah, I will get into.
We will
the
get to
reasons
that,
for
and we'll maybe have
do-
Remix bring up some pictures of some 1947 weather balloons at some point.
Well, I was going to interject something as well.
Okay, go ahead, and then Evil can continue.
You were talking about the mystery metal looking like aluminum.
Memory metal.
In that time frame, as we know, the Area 51 community was always developing new technologies and stuff, such as the crashed SR-71 that was discovered before the SR-71 was actually announced. This is 3 years before Mylar is invented. If it is a government experiment, that memory metal is 100% just Mylar. Like, because it looks like aluminum.
That is one of the things that they said that was when they get to the balloon cover-up story, is that it was, is this Mylar paper, Scotch tape, balsa wood, some tongue depressors, all that kind of stuff.
Here's the other thing, which I don't want to get super far ahead of myself, but is some of the markings that are on this metal that appear not to be English. They more reflect
hieroglyphics.
Yeah, very hieroglyphics. They look like hieroglyphics. There's weird control panel chunk that is a six-handed. There's like a
six fingers.
Six fingers. My bad, not six-handed. Not
six-handed.
That's crazy. Six. Like a six-finger control panel that in this documentary they speculate is maybe some sort of a telepathic steering device for this aircraft. Yeah. But either way,
it's one of the things they theorize. But also in that they show that is several inches wide, the I-beam with the hieroglyphics on it. And when you talk to Jesse Marcel Jr., of course he's recollecting this shit from 2 a.m. when he was a fucking toddler, but he remembers seeing something much, much thinner and almost reflective of light. Like if you just held it a certain way against the light, you'd be able to see it, not embedded into the metal. But I can't have Remix pull up an image. I did send an image out of what Mac Brazel looks like, so you can get an idea of what this ranch hand looks like.
Okay.
But he loaded up some of this debris into his truck.
Looks like Wings Hauser.
Yeah, he's definitely a dude who looks like he would chew tobacco constantly.
Like wearing a groove in the back pocket.
Yeah. He loaded up a bunch of this debris and he took it into town where there was a bar in town where he would go by and he would complain in there about all this debris all over my field and it's a pain in the dick to get my sheep around it because they won't go around it. All this stuff is just causing a real big pain. So the barkeep is in contact with the local radio guy. The radio guy is always looking for stories and even offers, I think, a $3,000 kind of reward for, proof of aliens and stuff like that. Because, of course, alien fever is going on. So,
yeah.
Which I want to say, I can't remember exactly. I did do the inflation math, but $3,000 in 1947, I think, is maybe close to 30,000 today.
That's insanity.
Which is insane for a radio to give away that much money. So, of course, Mac Brazel's like, okay, I'll talk to. Initially, he talks to the sheriff. He's like, hey, there's this shit all over my field. I need somebody to help me clean this stuff up.
Right.
The sheriff's like, yeah. Hey, I know the radio guy is talking about something like this. Maybe, Mac, you should go talk to the radio guy. Radio guy, he goes and talks to the radio guy, he puts it on the radio, and then all that information finds its way to the RAAF, the Roswell Army Airfield. They get in contact, and they're the ones who send out Jesse Marcel, the guy to go out there and investigate what the hell fuck's going on this field. And, of course, they'll go out there. They have to spend the night because it takes a fucking day from Corona to Roswell, because Roswell they're like, it's the Roswell incident, but that's just the fucking town. Like, it's really this little place outside of it, but the nearest town everyone knows is Roswell. So Marcel, the guy with him, Mac, take the day trip out there. They got to spend the night and have a lovely dinner of beans in a can. Next morning they get up, then they can go investigate this field and see what the hell all this stuff is. And that's, of course, when they're like, what is this weird shit? What is going on here? Supposedly,
Air
this,
quotes.
yeah, Marcel should know, and even Mac Brazel should know what a weather balloon looks like, because they're going up all the fucking time in the area. But this doesn't resemble anything of the sort. So he loads this shit up, takes it back. The press guy, Mr. Hout, gets the go-ahead to put out that the RAAF has captured a flying saucer, which is out for like a day before it is immediately taken down by the military. I think Roger Ramey immediately goes, nope, this was a weather balloon. This was not a UFO. They have some of this material supposedly shipped out to, I believe, Fort Worth with Marcel. He's going to be meeting with a few military people and doing photo ops, which there's some of the photo ops of.
So this photo that's up right now, is this the stuff that is supposedly Mylar? This is the memory metal?
Stuff. They brought the items in. Some of the stuff was supposedly also shipped to like Dayton, Ohio, and possibly to the White House. But they shipped stuff with Marcel to this location. Marcel goes with Ramey into another room right quick. He's there with the material that he believed was what he found at the ranch. He goes into another room with Ramey to point out on maps where exactly this took place, because Ramey wanted to know exactly on a map where this was, where it all went down. So they do all of that. He comes back in the room. Marcel notices that this is all different stuff. You know, like, what is all this? Like, this is a weather balloon. Like, no, this is what you found. You're going to hold up parts of it for photos. We're going to tell everyone that this is a weather balloon. So this is what.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Yeah, this is the stuff they, according to Marcel, who you can only give so much credence to, because I believe it's even in his military record that he's kind of a storyteller. Not an extreme storyteller, but like he'll put flair on shit.
Gotcha.
I do have a picture of a weather balloon that they sent up shortly after with a contraption designed to look like this. I'll bring it up in just a second.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see it.
But the thing that always gets me about this is they're trying to. This is the crash release took place around July 3rd, and it wasn't that press release didn't go out till July 8th. So there's almost a week where this shit was spread across a New Mexico desert.
Right.
And
with a big fucking crater.
Yeah, look how pristine that shit looks in those photographs. Like, that stuff looks brand new. That shit should be like dust covered, should be a fucking mess, but it looks so pristine and clean. That's one of the things that kind of that always kind of bothered me, is like, look how clean this shit is. This for stuff that's supposed to be out in the fucking desert for almost a week's worth of time. Leave anything outside for a week, and it's not going to look that clean.
So we got a, before we move on to, Remix put the picture up, but Cyber Skull Media hit us with a $10 super chat. So, Evil, you got to take a shot, but thank you very much, Cyber Skull.
With my new donated Red Hook Brewery double shot glass, donated from a watcher. So I'm going to break in a new shot glass for this.
Which, let me go ahead and just tell everybody, I hate to shamelessly shill. But our buddies, Cyber Skull Media, they're local to me, and they are content creators as well. They do a lot of different stuff, from spicy food challenges to a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you like stuff that isn't just horror, go check out their stuff and tell them we sent you or something. I don't know.
The way this shreds looks a lot more like aluminum foil than it does Mylar.
It's weird, which is what makes me question the ability to like crunch it up and then it just kind of unfold. Like, if you ever, like Evil already said it, like a cellophane on a cigarette pack. Like, if you were to crush that up and let go of it, it just immediately comes back to its form. It tries. But if you were to do that to aluminum foil, it would just stay a fucking ball. So,
but also, that stuff you could melt down at a certain temperature. You could break it. You could bend it. All that kind of thing, and damage it and destroy it. They are all saying how this is not something that could be done with this material. And they sent up weather balloons constantly in the area. They sent up tons of weather balloons. So Marcel, Brazel, everybody should have known what a weather balloon looked like. Shouldn't have been a big deal.
Right.
Which that was the quote unquote cover story that the military wanted to immediately put out was not a UFO. Don't freak out, because apparently, like the phones were ringing off the hook when this went international. That holy shit, they have a flying saucer, which I can understand. One reason why the military would want to kind of put a silence on this, because people are panicky, crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
Look what happened with all
War
our
of the
toilet
World.
paper.
Yeah, War of the Worlds, people thought was a fucking real thing, and some people died.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the very least, to cause not panic, they're like, yeah, we can totally just say that the Raimi empties, flying saucer. This is just a weather balloon.
Right.
Which I like how the story has changed over the years. Like, initially, they're like, it's a weather balloon. He fucked up. It's just a weather balloon. And then later, they said it was part of Project Mogul, where they were specialty weather balloons. Like, it was a cover-up, but it's still a weather balloon. But it's a weather balloon they would put up with special microphone listening equipment so they could hear if Soviets were launching shit towards us.
I also never heard that.
their-
That's also
Yeah, that was their second reasoning for like, it was a balloon, but it's not. But it was a balloon.
Yeah, it's a
And
secret
then
balloon.
then their final excuse that they threw out was, I think in 1997, it could have been 97, where they were saying how, okay, it was still a balloon, but it was to explain the bodies. They're like, no, they were testing out how bodies were getting parachuted or tossed out of planes, like some kind of measurement like that. So they were tossing these 6-foot mannequins that had some latex, plastic kind of
Get
skin.
fucked.
They're like, oh well, people are just confusing, these dummies, these mannequins, for potential alien bodies. Discrepancy there is that these dummies were 6 feet in height. Everyone that always talked about, because when you get to people that said there were bodies on the crash sites when the military descended upon and cleaned this area clean, like they picked this shit clean, they picked everything up, there's nothing left. But when you have witnesses talking about bodies being there, that they were classic grays, about 4 feet tall, with, of course, the classic gray look, not looking like dummies in any way whatsoever.
Before you continue, Christopher Harris says, "I'm glad to see you guys are back. We are glad to be back. It's been a nice couple of weeks. I mean, it's been busy, super busy. Both of us had birthdays. We worked on our movie and never slept, and which is why I'm paying for it now. I'm actually kind of under the weather, but I was like, you know what? We're doing this,
He's under
damn it.
the weather.
Yeah.
And
we're under the weather balloon.
We just went crazy. I'm losing my mind.
Which, dude, I know we got a long ways to go in this live stream, and we're going to get to the bodies themselves. Because, man, do I want to talk about that. Do I want to talk about this actual autopsy. And for the people who have not seen this.
Here's an example of a gray alien.
Yes. I'm sure that there are plenty of Roswell. If you could find the Roswell autopsy photos, we can bring those up as well. But there's so much to discuss with this actual, I'm going to air quote, unedited autopsy footage.
17 minutes, which is on Amazon Prime if you do not desire to own this on DVD.
It's on YouTube for free, too, if you want to.
I'm sure, but I found it on Amazon Prime where you could watch the full special with included or separate the 17-minute famously unedited autopsy video where they go through the whole corpse and the
crash.
supposed the crash debris.
Yeah. And man, yeah, we're going to get into that. But let's pick up. 80s Horror Fan says shots with a $10 super chat. Dude,
Ooh, shot.
You guys have no idea.
With the shots, because man, I love this shit. I was hooked when this came out. One of the stars of this documentary, Kevin Randall, he's written several fucking books. He's a war veteran, Iraq and Vietnam, and I did purchase one of his books. It had a green cover on it. I can't remember. It was a long title, but he's done several different UFO books, but the famous one I remember getting from the library was Crash at Corona, where he just interviewed so many people. I love listening to Kevin Randall talk.
What are you sipping?
What am I sipping? I'm taking what's left of my Canadian whiskey.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Canadian
Remix
whiskey.
has the grays up. He has the pictures from the alien autopsy, which fuck it, since you're on a sabbatical and you're taking a drink, got to bring up the fact that in this documentary, which this is one of the cool things, because when this documentary came out, obviously, it wasn't determined as to whether or not it was a hoax, but there were people who were questioning it, obviously. But they bring on Stan Winston and Stan Winston's effects team, and they examine the footage, and they're nothing but complimentary.
Before you can continue that right there, I did also read in other spots where some of the people, they didn't name any names, but some of the people that they interviewed for the Fact or Fiction special did say that their things were edited to make them sound certain ways or out of context. So when I rewatch it, and I hear that, I'm totally thinking like, oh, because I want to save face for Stan Freeman. I'm like, no, they edited it somehow to make Stan Freeman or Stan Winston say completely different things than what he really meant to say.
Well,
sweet can.
Yeah, can. We got Bloodbath and Beyond in the house. Snarls Barkley says, "Oh, that's First Jason." Yeah, it does kind of look like First Jason. But yeah, the thing about this autopsy footage, which, like I said, in the documentary, Stan Winston and his team are presented as speaking very complimentary of this.
Yeah,
and one of the things that stands out to me is well, in this colored picture, this looks like a dummy, like a motherfucker.
Colored.
Yeah, but the black and white photos.
I could not find the show, but I remember watching it a number of years ago. But I believe it was called America's Greatest Hoaxes or something very close to that, where one of the episodes where they completely tell how this was a hoax. And Ray Santilli, the guy who presented the footage, who supposedly bought it from a former RAAF cameraman, presented it. Yeah, that it was done as a hoax. But his story has been fucking flip-floppy and inconsistent over the years as well, because he came out initially going, yeah, this is real. I bought the footage from this guy. This is the footage. Then later he had come out and said, okay, I've seen the real footage. The real footage is too damaged to use, so I recreated the entire autopsy. So all this is staged, but it's based off the actual autopsy that he had seen. He likened it to restoring a painting, which doesn't fucking work at all in my mind.
Right, no.
Like, yeah, I drew the Mona Lisa, so you can get rid of the original one and just put this one up because I'm restoring it because it's almost the same thing.
Yeah, nope.
So he said that. I believe there was a British special or interview he did where he interviewed or talked with the cameraman, but the cameraman was totally blacked out and like Unsolved Mystery style. You couldn't see who it was, but it's been inconsistent on it being real or not. The last that I've heard is he's still saying that it's real, but this footage that you're seeing is all shit that he created to preserve what was really there.
Well, here's the thing, which they talk about in the documentary. They talk about how during the actual autopsy, there's a lot of very standard camera trickery going on. Like, oh, let's get the camera real close behind one of the surgeon's backs, and then when we come out, we're purposely out of focus for the removal of an organ or a cut or whatever. But when this dummy, if it is a dummy, is cut open.
If I recall, I think it was some like living at some point, organisms that they used. And I'm literally going off my memory of watching a show at least 4+ years ago, but I want to say it was real stuff just put inside a fake outer layer.
Well, another thing that they bring up, which is interesting in the documentary, is that saying that these are humans, but they are born of some sort of defect, which I forget the defect. I didn't write.
I want to say Turner syndrome,
where you can be born with 6 fingers and toes. And your head is bulbous.
It's 1 in a trillion that it could have all these defects and live to be as old as it possibly could be. But that also falls in the category of people saying that the some of the aliens that they resemble grays that they talk about as like, oh, these were really monkeys that were their hair was singed, and of course being out in the desert sun caused parts of them to swell. That's why they look the way they do.
Okay. Either way, I'm running. I'm not fucking with that. I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah. But I like how they interviewed a coroner on there, like examining the autopsy methods, and some people questioning the methods of death. And I'm like, well, that is a giant fucking gash
In his
on
leg?
the leg. Yeah, that on top of like this technically is a being from another world. Who the hell even knows if they can breathe an oxygen-based atmosphere? They could totally get down here and they're like,
I can't breathe. On my leg.
Where's
That's
their
true.
reproductive shit?
Well, and also, according to eyewitness, is that this one is injured, right, or is dead.
two were dead and one was alive, barely still, and upset.
Yeah,
Clearly.
and because it's their family member or whatever. But
You're fucked. You're on another planet. Like, imagine that. You're just on another planet. You're with two other people, but they're dead. You're left alone, and no one can understand you. You can just make all the noises you want. No one's going to know what the hell you're saying. And these primitive goofs aren't going to be able to find a way to get me the fuck home. I'm stuck here.
they're just gonna shotgun you, which, man, this whole thing, dude, there's so much to unpack. But like I was saying about the actual autopsy is when they open up the chest cavity and they peel the skin back, even Stan Winston remarks on how like uniformly bloody it is. It doesn't appear like wet.
He loves the word wetness.
Yeah, it peels open. It's wet all the way across, like it is flesh, and
Yeah, it cuts well.
yeah, and the other thing is, if you're a slasher fan or whatever, the old Tom Savini adage of, this scalpel has a dulled edge, and the side that isn't facing the camera, we're gonna have a blood tube, and we're gonna make this incision on this head.
Which it totally kind of looks like when they're cutting right underneath, like the ear and the neck. Like it totally. All I see now is I see the box cutter for the movie that we did.
Right.
It's like, oh, maybe we could have made this alien autopsy.
And so that's one of those things. It's like a telltale from an effects artist perspective is you're looking for the way they're holding these instruments.
Yeah.
And some of it comes across very genuine and real, and then other parts of it are like, well, they lead you to question it. Granted, when we saw this when we were children, that's why we're still talking about it now, because it was hard to convince 9-year-old me that this was not 100% real.
Yeah, there's a reason this is almost 80 years, and it's still something that's super talked about and debated and whatnot. I always used to be freaked out by the when they took the eyes out and you just had the whites of the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they would show that in that special, I'd be like, what the hell is that?
Well, dude, like it's super creepy because you're looking at it and okay, if you're trying to put logic into it, like it is a dummy, right? Like, oh, that's a dummy. Well, then they take the eyes out and then the jaw kind of goes slack. Like it has like almost a completely different expression, and it's kind of nightmare fuel.
Oh, it totally is. When I first and they don't show you initially them like using the tweezers and taking whatever that fuck shit is off the eye. They just they smash cut some different things, and you just see the fucking whites of the eyes. Like, what the hell happened to its eyes? What'd you do to its eyes?
Some Rosemary's Baby reference, deep cut.
Absolutely. Aliens laying there just like,
dude, and it's so gnarly, and it's so like I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like when you're watching it, and they bring it up in the documentary, like, okay, this clock that's on the wall is a clock from the 40s. This phone is a phone from this era. The film stock, they examine the actual film, and like some dude from Kodak, I'm pretty sure it's like a dude from Kodak.
The guy from Kodak, there's a a symbol method for dating the film, and it was 47, 67,
or 27,
maybe 87.
No, not 87. It was 67 was the highest it went.
Okay, 60. Okay, still.
So it was the 20 years, 67, 47.
They couldn't say specifically what this is exactly from the late 40s is when this happened, but they say it was part of a 3-step process.
Film
where,
stock.
Like, okay, it could be from this thing.
So, which is the other great thing. Like if this is a hoax, which I'm gonna air quote that because I want to believe that this is legit, but at the lengths that whoever created this, if it is created, they went, using actual film stock that can be dated to the 40s, using actual film props from the 40s. And here's the other thing that I always look for when I watch this. Whenever they show the alien, so from this angle, Remix has like a little gif of it up. Now the thing about making a full body cast is it's a 2-part mold. So if you go to your Michael's or not Michael's, but your fucking whatever Halloween store, your Spirit Halloween, and you buy a full cast dummy of anything, whether it's an arm, a fucking leg, or a full body like this, it's a 2-part mold, which means that at somewhere in the middle of this body, there's got to be a seam. And you notice it,
though.
You notice it in movies even. Like, most movies have a hard time hiding that seam unless it's just completely caked in blood, or it's clothed, fully clothed, or has hair punched, whatever, to hide that seam. This being old film stock does a great job of hiding imperfections. But
that's what I'm wondering is, like, if the combination of the film stock and being in black and white, are they able to, in the early mid-90s, able to find ways? 'Cause, I mean, if you're going to the excessive detail of, like, we clock, the phone, the medical tray, everything is time accurate. I mean, going to that level of detail, you might as well keep going as far as you can with the detail and making everything look as legitimate as humanly possible.
Right. And Mikey brings it up. He said, I've seen monster movies from that era. They did not have effects like this. Stan Winston himself says, at the time this documentary came out, which, what did you say, 95, 94, 95?
1995, August 28th, 1995.
So in 1995, put this in perspective, they were just starting to use silicone, like Platsil, Gel 10, and all of those. They were just starting to use silicone. Because if you look at the 80s and the early 90s horror, it's all foam latex. It all has a very, like, specific look to it. It wasn't until, later 90s and up till now where you get this absolutely realistic looking silicone. And granted, you don't see this body bending appendages or anything. The closest Remix just had it up, like them kind of gingerly examining the leg. But
you do a little bit with one of the left hand.
Yeah, because they do examine the hand, show the amount of fingers, and then they show the foot. And that's another telltale sign. When something is molded or casted or sculpted, whatever, if they sculpt a foot, so they sculpt it like this, and then they mold it, these cannot spread. They're fucking molded together. Like, it's...
Yeah.
So when you look at those hands and you look at those feet, if there had been any separation, like if they had counted the toes, that would be another thing where I'd go, okay, well, that could be real, but they just kind of take a quick glimpse at the limbs.
And it just makes you just go,
You son of a bitch.
It's true.
why would you take your time? That'd be the other thing. But I mean, you also supposedly have other bodies you can utilize, and one that's still alive. But it's like, man, they burn through that autopsy pretty fucking quick.
2 hours, correct?
Like,
From it takes them 2 hours from the way that the clock moves. That's what they determined, is that autopsy only took 2 hours.
I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't take days.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't just start with the foot alone should take days.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone you've already, pulled out the fucking organs, cut the fucking brain open, all that stuff. Like, why wouldn't you just spend forever and a day on every small little
Remix.
facet of this corpse?
What is standard time an autopsy takes on a human being? That's
might
like an
put you
8-hour
on-
workday, an autopsy. I don't know what that's like. Just a question.
Don't bullshit me.
Yeah. Make sure you get us a good number on that. But tying into that, something that's not in the documentary.
Oh, we
but
got
is,
we got a good. Christopher Harris says the wall phone in the autopsy room is very similar to a Model 554 introduced in 1949. The narration claims it dates from 1937, but that's the date of the first Model 302, which is quite different. Okay, so there is a discrepancy with the phone model. Interesting.
A regular autopsy takes between 2 and 4 hours. Results can be given within 24 hours of completion.
There you go. Okay, so but that's on something that you've
that's
done
on a-
before. Like, yeah, this is
That's
just
on
a
a
dude.
regular human.
Yeah.
Not on
An alien body. Okay, so yeah, that's another thing that I think you and I have both discussed off air, is the amount of time spent on this autopsy. So, but I know we got super sidetracked because I wanted to talk about that body, which we'll come back to. But go ahead with your
That's part of the whole thing here. I don't even know where at one point I had left off.
we were getting to talking about homeboy who had the weather balloon, where they were like, this is a weather balloon. It is a weather balloon.
They swapped out the material, and they're like, this is a weather balloon. He's like, this isn't, and of course they make jabs. They're like, he should have known this was not a UFO, so it was a weather balloon. But this is where the story starts, where Marcel, and then he's instructed to tell his family, which he brought this shit home at 2 a.m. when he brought it back from the ranch, woke his family up, and was before this shit went super top secret, because he knew it had to be in line. And like, come look at all this stuff. That's of course why you have his son Marcel Jr. with stories of seeing the I-beam and messing with the memory metal. But once it is flown out and swapped out with the weather balloon, he of course is instructed, you're not to talk about this. Don't mention this to the family. Make sure everyone at home doesn't say anything. And you have the stories that are in the special about people getting threatened around, being like, this did not happen. You were never there. And of course, famously, Mac Brazel, they are going to interview him for the radio station. They're going to talk to him, and they get a call from the FCC going, you cannot air this interview you do with Mac Brazel, matter of quote unquote national security. And Mac Brazel is supposedly taken by the military, because he initially is going to be like, nah, I'm going to tell what the hell happened here. And they apparently put him through a military style physical examination, which who knows how many fingers he had up his butt going to a military physical. But he of course comes back, does do an interview where he tells the story about, oh no, I didn't mean all this to get blown out of proportion. This was all just Mylar paper, balsa wood, scotch tape, and tongue depressors. I didn't mean for this to get all out of hand. But of course, right after this, you go from a guy that drives this beat the shit truck, living in a shack with no electricity, to driving a brand new pickup truck, leaving town and starting up his own business in another town. Like, ooh, all of a sudden, where's Mac become Maximilian?
That's interesting. That's that kind of screams bribe a little bit. But the one thing I was going to say is,
every man's got a price for the $1 million man.
Damn right. But the other thing about bringing home this material. Now I'm not the fucking brightest bulb on the tree, but I feel like radiation might, you know what I mean? Like I've seen enough movies to know that
they took a detector out there to see if it had any radiation. And of course, it had no radiation levels, so that takes care of the radiation theory.
But that was after he brought it to his house.
No, when they initially went out to examine the debris field, they had, of course, a detector with them. They're like, radiation.
Okay, there you go. Because I mean, my brain, I'm going. This is the age of the atom.
Podcast on the left, we're like, you still don't bring something like this to your house. It could have seeds on it, all kinds of microorganisms and shit that could just destroy this entire planet.
That's 100% true. That's what I was thinking. Like, you know, again, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I don't think I'd be like, hey guys, look at this crap. Let me put it in my kitchen floor where we put our groceries before we put them away. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But, I don't know if that's something that crosses the mind of a person in 1947. If that's just not something, you know, that comes into the mind. I don't know if it does or not.
You know, it is the age of the atom. Like there's so much terrifying shit going on in the fucking 30s, 40s, 50s. Like.
And literally at Roswell Army Airfield is where is one of the places where they had the nuclear weapons stored, and the one they end up dropping over in Japan is right there at the Roswell Army Airfield.
Hey, can I say something?
Go for it.
Too bad I'm gonna fucking say it anyway.
Go ahead.
Even a weather balloon would become slightly irradiated when reaching atmospheric heights, but considering the materials they were looking at, if we believe were Mylar is normally purchased by doomsday preppers for its ability to block radiation and not take in radiation. So pretty much no matter what, it's not going to be irradiated.
Okay. Well, yeah, but still, just the paranoid, person that I am. I just don't think whatever it is. I saw The Blob a million times. I'm not dragging that shit home.
That's the other thing. We've seen too many movies to know this is a terrible idea.
It's a real bad idea.
Entire horror film just off what Marcel was doing or said he was doing with this material that he's just willy-nilly bringing home.
Hey, look where this thing crashed. There's a circus tent. I'm good. I'm going home. Fuck you.
But then, of course, everyone is silenced and not a word. Everyone kind of accepts that it's a weather balloon. That story kind of, as shabbily as they put it together, kind of sticks until 1978 when my boy, Stanton T. Friedman, started doing all this as a side quest, essentially. He's a nuclear physicist, super fucking smart guy. I bought a 2-part VHS pack of Stanton Friedman just standing outside of a NASA building talking for 4.5 hours. It's absolutely incredible stuff to listen to. But he interviewed Jesse Marcel, and that's when Marcel in 1978 straight up was like, yeah, it was a bullshit story. It's not a weather balloon. I know what a weather balloon is, and that is not what was out there in that field. And that, of course, is what got the ball rolling further and further into, okay, what the hell was it out there?
When did
you eventually get all the way to 94 when that congressman in New Mexico, Steve Schiff, was supposed to be looking. He wanted to know what was going on. So he ends up hitting up the government being like, hey, what are the records going on at this time in 1947? All them records fucking destroyed.
That's super sketch, dude.
Which had to leave Schiff just going,
you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that is again, it just reeks of cover up. Sneaky bullshit going on.
Which they said 3 times over was a cover up, but for still dumb shit.
We got to
when going back to that dummy story, they said that when they were saying that the dummy thing was going on, that actually took place in the mid 50s, not previous to 50s, 1947. But of course they chalk all that up to that's just time compression.
Yeah, that I don't know, dude. We got Jelly Duck in the house, but I wanted to read these other things that Christopher Harris had posted. He said, each time the Fox network reran the 1-hour special, they promoted it as containing previously unaired footage, which meant that something else had been edited out to make room for new material. And then he said, it's unclear which of the broadcast versions was used for the video release, where in any event the program is followed by apparently all of the raw footage. Yes, all that raw footage we were talking about is on here. You can examine it in full detail.
Because I have Mikey has the official Alien Autopsy video that was released. I have a dubbed tape of that was at a Blockbuster. I had a copy of it. I still have that copy at home to this day. I have my Alien Autopsy VHS dubbed tape, which is the exact same layout as what's on the DVD. Is the special followed by, they even have the audio at the end where it's the producer talking during the end credits.
Yep.
Like, all right, now we're going to see all the actual footage. So the DVD that you can buy today for a low price of $15 is the exact same one. The exact same, everything you're going to see is what came out on the VHS that they released in 96, 97.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Sorry for the constant throat clearing.
Throat clearing. You're under the weather, and I'm just going all out.
I'm telling you, dude. When you said you wanted to do this, I was like, I know if anybody can just go about this incident, it's you. And I was interested in letting you take the reins today and just blow my mind. And you have been blowing my mind with a bunch of crazy shit. Because the only stuff that I really know about this is on this DVD. So you've read books and watched other documentaries and listened to podcasts and I'm sure countless hours of YouTube videos on this subject. So
actually, YouTube videos is the shortest probably list. I've listened to several podcasts. I have some old VHSs still on tape. I have taped in, I believe, 97 or 99, one of the two, a Roswell special that aired on the Sci-Fi Channel that is on my Alien Autopsy tape. I completely forgot that it was even on there, but apparently taped over. Forgive me. I taped over, apparently, on that tape, I had Halloween 2 on there. I taped over that with my Alien Roswell special that followed because I had a lineup, including the show Sightings. Sightings had covered it a little bit. Also, Unsolved Mystery. So, yeah, I've just been fascinated by this shit since probably 1993 or so. I know by the time the special came out, I had heard about it, and I definitely know by the following year when Independence Day came out that I knew the entire story when they go into that in the movie. Being like, oh, that thing in New Mexico. We're like, oh, yes, I know all about the thing in New Mexico.
Before you get going again, Late Horror Show's in the house and says, good stuff tonight, guys. So much information. Can talk for hours on this. But yeah, bring it up. And anything you have to say, we'll definitely try and bring it up.
And freaking shows on Art Bell years ago. I didn't listen to any of those, but like I said, I don't need to listen to him on Art Bell because I still have the 2-pack VHS tapes. Flying Saucers Are Real. Stanton T. Friedman just fucking standing out in the fucking hot ass sun outside of the NASA headquarters, just going.
Art Bell is he's like the famous like debunker, right? Is that guy?
Not the debunker, but he's the radio guy that's on the radio for like 4 to 6 hours a night. Runs the gambit of everything under the sun. When you listen to LP on the Left, when they do that strange and unusual sounds, they take the clip from his show when they're playing the quote unquote sounds from hell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it seems to me that I remember Art Bell, being mostly a negative in all of these.
I never really listened to Art Bell
because a lot of the times the last podcast on the Left bring him up, especially when it comes to alien stuff with the MUFON stuff and that he's very like. He's very quick to be like, nope, bullshit. It's bullshit. Because when we did all of our research on Fire in the Sky, I believe Art Bell's name came up numerous times. But I could be wrong. But that was one of my favorite episodes. We put a lot of love into that one. So,
the Late Horror Show telling me 8 hours of Stanton Friedman talking to Art Bell. Good stuff there. Oh, my goodness. I can burn through that in a day.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I really wish I could just get my Roswell books back and the there's a big blue book I used to get from the library all the time, like cover-ups. But it was, I mean, a thick fucking book. I think you can still probably find it, like UFOs, the real cover-up or something like that. But man, that's what I wish I could still get my hands on. It's just a handful of the books that I used. That used to be my summer activity for at least a couple of years. Was just going to the library. I knew exactly in the library where to go to, where the alien section was, and just get the same 4 or 5 books constantly and just go through them. That was my shit for a while.
I
was an
think,
alien boy.
You know, when we were in elementary school, middle school, we were so intrigued by a lot of these things, which is crazy because we didn't even know each other, but we were both kind of intrigued by the same stuff. And I think
Practically the same pack.
Yeah, it's true. We really are. But, you know, a lot of it, in my opinion, can be attributed to Unsolved Mysteries. Because as a kid, Unsolved Mysteries was like among the lineup of things that my mom would watch. So my mom would do like Cops, America's Most Wanted, and then Unsolved Mysteries. And so as a kid, I took every story as face value. Like, well, it wouldn't be on TV and they wouldn't be doing news about it if it was not real. Which we've had that conversation about the Bigfoot stuff and everything else. And so for years I was obsessed with aliens. And this Autopsy really got the juices flowing, you know.
Yeah, which I can't even imagine what it was that Ray Santelli made off this, but I'm sure it paid for all the painstaking work he did to recreate the footage that we see. Just what he was able to sell to Fox, you know, who definitely didn't have a shortage of coin on hand, especially having the X-Files in their back pocket. But I mean, just selling like this story and shit domestically, internationally, all that stuff. Like, man, Ray Santelli. He almost got my Gwildor Award, which I did have a Gwildor Award recipient for this.
I did not. I didn't go the Gwildor route for the doc.
I will give you then my one Gwildor Award recipient that I had a hard time as. Well, I could give it to Ray Santelli because he did kind of troll all of us with this video, whether it's the origins are real or not. But I just couldn't. I had to give it to somebody else. That during this special, I was like, no, I feel this guy fits the bill a bit more, and that is the William C. Deere private investigator that the show hired to try to find this cameraman that he pretty much believes lives in Florida. Which, man, if this was all bullshit, what a wild goose chase that poor fucking guy went on. But like, this guy didn't come up with nothing.
Yeah,
why even
nothing.
air his stuff? You come up with one guy who might be a possible lead. And that was it. That's his whole bits of the entire special. Cut him out entirely.
Yeah, you didn't need him. He did nothing.
You're gone.
Yeah. I don't have a
Get that guy
Gwildor
outta
Award,
here.
but yeah.
We'll give it to William C. Deere,
All right.
a private investigator who was determined to find the cameraman
Unsuccessful.
who, here it is, 2021, and I'm pretty sure William Deere never found that damn cameraman. So,
Come on, don't bullshit me.
So we got 2 minutes before we hit our commercial break. So anything else you want to hit real quick before we go into our commercial break?
How's about a question for you two?
Okay, what do you got?
When do you think the first UFO documentation occurred?
we're talking
Claimedly.
caveman days. I think they're on cave paintings.
What year?
Shit.
Zero.
I don't know a
I
year.
don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's year 0. Caveman days, man.
Older
Year
than
one,
whole
that
era.
Michael Cera movie.
Older than year 0.
Okay, so like something BC, whatever. I don't know.
3,300 years before the Roswell, New Mexico incident, there are supposed Egyptian documentations claiming aliens. They claim that they saw
course.
fiery discs in the sky in the year 1440 BCE.
Yeah, you leave the History Channel on at 4 a.m. You know, you got ancient aliens and all that stuff. Which I should have guessed that. I don't know why, because my wife is obsessed with ancient aliens. So
It's a meme. Who isn't a fan of that shit?
the original sources have never been verified, so the only sources are secondary, so it's mostly disputed. Following that, there's not a UFO sighting for another 800 years during the Roman times.
that's Mikey. That Mikey said Roman Empire. So
Oh.
There you go.
in the year 218 BCE.
Nice.
So,
Well,
is it possible that they start showing up around technological
Advances?
and milestones for civilization? Because I mean, you can easily for 47, you tie it to the atomic bomb being a groundbreaking change in human history. So, can you tie it to different times throughout our history where it's like, oh, shit's kind of benchmarked here?
yeah, don't
Aliens
give me
happening.
Shortly following the drop of the atomic bomb, there is a explosion of UFO sightings.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's,
Yeah,
There's
'cause
only
they're
about
like, what
20
the-
throughout
like, oh,
history
shit,
beforehand.
these crazy motherfuckers have found new technology. They're becoming a slightly bit more dangerous.
Yeah.
It'd be the same equivalent if our dogs found out how to fire guns.
I knew it.
We would be paying a lot more attention to the damn dogs if they learned how to fire pistols at us.
Yes, that's true. But don't
I'm
even
sure
get me started
how
on,
aliens look it up.
Stonehenge and pyramids and all that shit. But it is
Yep.
9 o'clock, so we're going to do our commercial break. Guys, we've been gone for a hot minute, so we haven't checked our hashtag 3B video on Instagram. So hopefully you guys have been posting. If not, you got another hour.
Whose trailers you guys want to see? Who do we want?
Do whatever's...
That sounds like a Colt 45 to me.
Some podcasts are like this. The bodies of three hikers were all empty, and their organs were laid out like a Sunday dinner. And some podcasts are like this. You know what? I'm gonna tell you why having a large penis ain't always a good thing. But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this. Oh, you want that to blow up in real life? Fuck it. Oh, you're such a money slut. Take it off. You want to turn that boy into goo into a fucking helicopter? Yeah. Oh, fuck yes. Goo him up. You are now listening to Call 45. This is Beaten Bear, and I'm Random Randy Savage. Find us on all your podcasting apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com. Also check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content. And for just $3 a month, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/cult45podcast for exclusive content and swag. Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
Blam! Hello, internet fans.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
This is our commercial break. But just because it's a commercial break doesn't mean we can't interact and we can't have some fun. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I want you to grab the weirdest movie you have from your collection, snap a selfie, and put that motherfucker on Instagram with the caption, I rented this at hashtag 3B video. And then towards the end of the stream, we'll pull up Instagram and we'll take a look at everybody's selfies. So the weirder the movie, the better. And this is gonna be a thing that we start doing every week just to involve you guys, to have some fun. You got a copy of Redneck Zombies, you got a copy of Cobra, whatever it is that you feel like showing off this week from your collection, bam. I rented this from hashtag 3B video. Just another way for us to have some fun with you guys and include you in the show just a little bit more. So go grab a drink, go take a piss, come back, snap a selfie, put that fucker on Instagram, and we'll take a look. You got about an hour before we dive into it. Show us your weirdest flick this week. Show us your newest acquisition. Show us something that you've picked up that you're super proud of, because we're just as proud of your collection as we are of ours. So show it off and let everybody see that you've got the ill shit too, and you're learning from 3B video. All right, I'm gonna go back so we can do the rest of the live stream. All right, guys, I'll see you later. I'm not gonna walk. I'm just gonna. Yeah. Hunde. Oh, and we're back.
Say poontang.
I don't think he heard you. Say poontang again.
Poontang.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're back. So, Evil, you want to let the folks out there in internet land know what's going on, because we hit our second hour. Talking about a 45-minute documentary. We're on our second hour. Let's get into it.
We could keep going. We
I
could
know we
keep
could.
going. But we've got a format that we have to stick to, and we're going to stick to that format. So, all you out there, y'all thought that we were just going to talk about alien autopsy, fact or fiction, and is this going to be a smooth sailing ride? You think we were just going to talk about the good shit of alien autopsy? You think we weren't going to get into the dark side of this thing? Did y'all really think we weren't going to go to the ugly side of this presentation. Did you really think that? You think we were too close to this topic
Yes.
to get to the dark side of things?
Yeah.
Well, you're wrong,
Oh.
because we're going to get to the dark side, the deep, dark depths of the one-star reviews. Amazon one-star reviews. Remix. Cue the graphic.
Do, 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 do. Boodly, boodly, boodly.
That voiceover kind of makes the graphics seem a little bit less blasé. I mean, I don't have any
Give
audio
this
to it.
some substance. Should I try?
Amazon one-star review.
Moo ha ha ha.
Or it's the Amazon one-star reviews.
Don't bullshit me.
God, bullshit.
God damn it.
I'm down with Christopher Harris. Let's do the Amazon one-star review hour. The whole hour.
Shit.
I couldn't do the whole hour because
We
believe it or not,
did.
I didn't find a great amount of 1 stars for Alien Autopsy.
Remember when we did our 24-hour live stream? You did a full hour of Amazon one-star reviews at viewer request.
Oh man, yeah, viewer request I could do, but not on one movie that I got these. I don't even remember what these are because I got these 2+ weeks ago. Because when we decided we're gonna do this when we come back, we took that 3-week break, so that gave me about almost that 3-week time outside of filming to just dive headfirst all I can back into my alien lore, which, as you can tell, kind of overtook the entire set of what's going on here. But we won't digress any longer. We'll go into my 1-star reviews. First up is from Tony C. Statch. All together, so Tony Statch. On August 23rd, 2020. So he took a long time to get to this shit, but he says, 1 star. Seriously? People hunt Bigfoot and ghosts on a national TV almost every day. Alien Autopsy? That's some prehistoric level of idiocy.
Okay. Fine. If that's the way you feel, just forget it. But I think
All
you're
right.
really out of line.
I'll try it. We'll do one of the voice modulators for next, because this next one up is
One star. May 22nd, 2020. Fiction. Fiction. There. I say
It cut you out a little bit, but I saved you a lot of time. Is that what you said?
yes. Fiction. There. I saved you a lot of time. Which, that is one of the themes that kind of ran through the 1 stars, is people immediately spoiling all the fun of the fact or fiction aspect. Like, from Amazon customer, which we will affectionately name Rondell Del Branch.
Yeah, buddy.
On April 18th, 2000. This is a 21-year-old review.
You don't say that.
I just said that. 21-year-old review. 1 star. Unrealistic. I am an alien. Having seen this, now understand why we gave your planet a wide berth eons ago. My head is a different shape. My fingers are longer. My eyes are all wrong. Surely one of the stupidest humans could have been taken in it by it. The end.
Real quick before you move on, Apple Juice is in the house and says, "What color underwear is everyone wearing? I've got on green ones. I'm not wearing anything behind this counter, and there's nothing that you can do about it."
I'm wearing under from our sponsor, MeUndies. Go to MeUndies.com and use our content code, whatever the fuck they call those.
Video.
Get yourself 0% off because they're not our sponsor.
Not yet.
But they should be, because as soon as I bought some. No, you shut up. I'm doing a sponsor read. As soon as I bought them, I realized how much fucking better they were. Not the Zubaz. How much better they were than any store-bought underwear. And I replaced every single pair that I have with MeUndies.
I just don't wear underwear.
Micromodal is the shit. swap to MeUndies or something.
All right, enough of the
Maybe
underwear.
someone else will sponsor us, and I'll be like, hey, I need to replace my shit with them, but they're great.
All right, Evil, take it away.
All right, next up we got Johnny on October 25th, 2007. Slightly more current, but still a good number of years ago. 1 star, proved to be fake. Ray Santilli admitted that he faked the entire thing. Check the Wikipedia.
Oh yeah,
Whole
that's
thing is check the Wikipedia.
That's 100% factual. The Wikipedia.
Yes. No bullshit. And that's a rule around here.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Do not.
We don't want it. We don't want no bullshit.
All right. Next up, I love this username. This is fantastic. This is from Someone.
Okay.
On August 21st, 2004, 1 star, exciting and logical. I would like to see this video, VEDIO. I would like to see this video to find the answer about the question, which say, do you believe that there is another life out there, that the earth where we live? Really, I want to watch it, but I don't have the money. But please, I want to know how much I read about this subject, so I want to see, please. That's all. Thanks for riding.
All right. This dude wants to see this because he also, like us, wants to believe.
We don't know that's a person. That could totally have been
An alien.
I am an alien.
This. I've been reading all this stuff. What's the story? 1 star, though. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's bullshit.
And that is all I have for the Amazon 1-star reviews for Alien Autopsy. The rest I found were either super long, or most of them had that same general thesis of just immediately coming out the gate with, it was proven to be fake. Why would you watch this shit?
Because it's awesome. That's why. Which allow me, before we move into our next segment, to just, again, reiterate. There's so many places you can watch this for free, including Amazon Prime, YouTube, but you can buy a DVD of it or a VHS of it for like next to nothing. It's not an expensive thing to own. And just for curiosity's sake, if you haven't seen it, it's one of those things that you got to do it. You got to check it out. Just that old school TV format, Jonathan Frakes, the way that he does everything, it sucks you in and you're like, yeah, you know, and it just makes you want to believe. So give it a shot.
Jonathan Frakes is an excellent host. He absolutely is captivating in the special. And they bring him back for the one that I recorded, the Roswell special that he did in like 97. They brought him back. I think they just saw Alien Autopsy and like, we're just going to make him the official narrator for alien shit from here on out, because up to then he was just, he's that dude from Star Trek.
Right.
But to me, he's like, oh no, he's our alien narrator, man.
Yeah.
Because he just fucking kills it.
Yeah, definitely pulls you in. He's a good Robert Stack stand-in.
I love his last bit there, like right before it ends, like that, like it's a sunset kind of background. He's just like, what if? What if?
Yeah.
Like, fucking kill it. Like, I'm sure the cameraman is just right there going, this is amazing shit.
This is gold.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to retire tomorrow.
Yeah, he kills it. And again, just find a way to see it. And then come back and comment on this video because it'll be up on our page. And let us know what you think.
It's something else, man. It's a time capsule of the mid-90s. But now that the 1-stars are done, now that we're done dragging this special through the mud like it needed any more of that, we're going to go back into more lighthearted type stuff, and we're going to take a look at it. I couldn't find many. We're going to take a look at some of the poster designs, some of the promotional art that they put out for this special. So we're going to determine, looking at some of these promotional pieces, whether the artwork here is money, someone just did some amazing shit and just take my money, I want to see it, or it's a mishap and you look at this and go, not sold.
Skipping it.
Get that idea. Get out of here.
You son of a bitch.
Don't need none of that. So this is our money or mishap.
Let's do it. Hey, that's
Let's
sitting right here.
It's right there. And that's
Money.
also the VHS cover art as well. Money.
Yeah, 100% money. The grainy picture of the alien, you're like, I need to see this in full detail. Like, it pulls you in.
Yeah, and it totally gives a documentary feel because you have that little bubble at the end of Jonathan Frakes' head, like narrated by Jonathan Frakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it gives it that realism to the presentation of it there. And yeah, like of course, the trope of little green men. So we have to have little green in the color of the aliens.
Yeah.
You know, they're
I love
the gray.
let me say that I love that Vidmark put this out on VHS.
That's the same company that put out the UFC pay-per-views back in the day also, wasn't it? Wasn't Vidmark responsible for at least the initial UFC pay-per-views?
Might have been. I just I had a lot of weird horror movies that Vidmark put out. So.
Maybe they just had a net of this stuff they could acquire that maybe nobody else wanted or slip through the cracks. But I swear, original UFC pay-per-views used to be Vidmark as well, because I remember renting the first 4 or 5 UFC events and remembering that opening logo being the same on it. So, but yeah, I love this. I believe this is the VHS that Mikey has. Maybe he'll be popping that into the Instagrams.
I've already checked the Instagram.
But
Surprise,
here-
surprise, it's already there.
Here is the thing that this graphic tends
That's
to.
the commercial bumper.
I was gonna say pops up a lot in the documentary for the commercial bumper. Looks like it would be like a CD-ROM. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that fucking nailed it right there. That is absolutely it. This is the CD-ROM that you put in for further information. you
Right.
know?
It's okay.
Just a bunch of black background with green text is what you're gonna click as soon as you leave this screen.
Yeah. It's just okay.
It's not. It has a charm to me, so I will put it as money. I love the red eye on the alien too that they have there. Like, I can. It's a total sense memory thing. I see this and I can hear the wow, wow, wow.
Yep. This next one, I kind of like this, but it also kind of looks like one of those cheap DVDs that would be like, it'd have like 50 movies on it. You know what I mean?
78 horror flicks that we've acquired, starting with The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
And The Black Cat and Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead. Yeah. This gives I feel like that's an overseas one. I feel like that's the European cover. It's all right.
Let's see. Apple Juice says, "Show us the movie collection." I can't really spin the camera around. Maybe towards the end, I'll have Remix kind of do a pan with the camera. The movie room is a fucking disaster. When we do the live streams, there's lights everywhere and computers.
Check out one of the previous videos on the channel where you get a full tour of the video store. So
I
if
can
you want to see the video store
now if you want.
Check the library.
Let's move on. Do you got another one of these? Ooh.
Oh yeah, I believe the current one that is used by Amazon Prime as their promotional artwork, which I love.
Yeah, this is not bad at all.
Mm.
This
I think
is
I was
cool.
pushing a variation of this as like that should be the thumbnail for this this video because I love it.
Mm-hmm. I did use like that exact picture, I think. So, but yeah, I like this a lot. This is pretty dope. Kind of gives me like an Outer Limits vibe.
Yeah, very much. I love the old TV on like a fucking chair. Like it just has that X-File-ish feel to it, a retro feel to it. Yeah, I just dig that, and I'm positive this is what is used in Amazon Prime as their promotional, what they use for artwork to present it today. So when you go on Prime, that's probably the image I think you're going to be searching for.
Yeah, this is awesome. Apple Juice says, "You guys rock." I have seen the movie room, and it was really dope. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. The video store is a work in progress. Still working on stuff. Going to knock out some walls, make it a little bigger. But
Always a working process.
yeah, you never have enough room because you always get more movies. So
I need more cinema.
all day, every day. Is there another Money or Mishap, or is this the end of Money or Mishap? Okay, all right. Well, pretty much all of those were money. I say mishap. I say mishap for the TV bumper, but I totally get why you like it because it does.
I like the TV bumper. The only one I wouldn't quite I'd give the mishap to is that one that looks like the international DVD cover. Like that one, it's like
It's a little cheaper. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a
yeah. It looks
Dollar
like
Tree.
some exactly. That's it exactly. It's the Dollar Tree cover art.
yeah, just very
rest I
very
love.
average at best.
Mm.
But yeah. So now that we're done with Amazon 1-star reviews and Money or Mishap, what does that mean, Evil?
That means we're moving on to the next segment where if you're getting ready to watch, if you're going to have a night of aliens, you want to have a night of aliens. You want a night of conspiracy theories. You want a night of just deep dive into this lore. And one 45-minute special with a 17-minute bonus feature is just not going to be enough. You need to have something with it. You got to have a double feature. You have to have a double feature in this world. So this is the segment where we're going to give our individual presentation of what we would have as a good follow-up or begin what you would start before. A good double feature with Alien Autopsy. And we call this the tie-in.
Hello. That's exactly what we do. Am I getting roped into going first again, or how's this working?
You
Sugar
can go
plum.
first, or I can go first. How do you want to? Do you want me to go first?
I'll get mine out of the way.
No
My see if my throat will hold out. The tie-in bumper is missing. You don't have the pictures?
No, it's a joke about we don't have a graphic for
Oh,
tie-ins.
we don't have a. Yeah, we're missing a graphic. We'll get a
Come on,
tie-in
it's a joke,
graphic.
fucker.
We need Mikey will provide us with a graphic for that.
Yes,
No pressure.
perhaps.
We can't just get Mikey to do all our shit. Mikey does great work for his own.
So, my tie-in, which we covered last year in our We Want to Believe month, is none other than Fire in the Sky. Because, to me, this is what I always go back to when I think of aliens. As much research as we did into Fire in the Sky, and as much, truth and logic and all of these things we tried to put into it and tried desperately to debunk it, my brain, when we got done with that 2+ hour live stream, went, this shit's still real. This is real. And I don't think in all of the alien movies that I've ever seen that have some sort of abduction or tell a tale of a visit from aliens, I've ever seen one that scared me as much as this one did. And the reason that it's so scary for me is because it is not necessarily an alien movie. It's a movie about these people and their lives and what they're going through and their relationships, whether they're butting heads, and then there just happens to be an alien abduction. And the stuff that happens on the alien spaceship is pure nightmare fuel. And I feel like if you're going to start your day with Alien Autopsy, which gets your brain going about this being real, is this real? The only logical step for me is to follow it with a movie that, to my knowledge, is one of the only movies made on, based on a real experience. So you just put the two together, and that's where I went with it. So
That's not bad at all. You never not going wrong with Fire in the Sky.
yeah.
Not a bit.
So that was my whole logic behind that was, wanting to believe super hard. So they got to go together.
Yeah.
So that was mine.
Excellent choice. Go back and watch our Fire in the Sky live stream from last year and have a good time with it because we sure as hell did. It prompted us a year later to dive back into that mode. So very similar with my tie-in. Also, I would say start with Alien Autopsy, It lays a lot of the groundwork and everything for you. But my tie-in is a movie I don't think you've seen, but you need to. You need to own this. But my tie-in is the feature film with Kyle MacLachlan and Martin Sheen, Roswell.
You and I have discussed this many a times. Yeah, I've never seen this, so
I believe if you're on our Discord, there is the section on our Discord where we post some movies that people have put up on the YouTubes. I believe Roswell is in that lineup. If not, I'll try to repost it again. But this is a fantastic movie. Came out around the same time frame. I want to say in the early 90s. I can't quite remember exactly when this movie came out, but I didn't see it until after I saw Alien Autopsy. Finally rented it, and man, you're following the story. Kyle MacLachlan plays Jesse Marcel, and it's mostly told in flashback form, but he is a much older man, but he is determined to uncover what the hell happened on this day, and you get the entire story of the crash at Roswell. You get Dwight Yoakam as playing Mac Brazel, which is fantastic.
Nice.
That's horse shit. That's horse shit too. Like it's a phenomenal, awesome movie. You also get Glenn Dennis, the mortician, which that's another side story I didn't quite get into. Is there's a mortician that was on the Army airfield base that got hit up allegedly at some point by a colonel on the phone asking, "Hey," asking a lot of questions like, "What are some ways to preserve a body? Preserve a body that was exposed to the elements? Do you happen to have 4 child-sized caskets on hand?" Because I guess they were thinking they could transport some alien bodies in caskets. They thought maybe that would be less weird than just crates, which, I mean, I'm in the opposite camp of that, being like, I feel like if you had 4 kid caskets show up, like, what the fuck's going on here, as opposed to just military crates, like, there's probably ammunition in there or some shit.
yeah, fucking trioxin barrels.
Yeah, just much more like believable as opposed to 4 caskets. But you get a lot of different perspectives of different people that were there telling stories, and it's just it's the perfect, in my opinion, film companion piece to Alien Autopsy. Is just watch this movie. It's fun. It's a great time. Hard to find, but if you can enjoy it, it's a hell of a movie. Martin Sheen plays the quintessential man in black. Like he just is always there in the background. He shows up at the end with all kinds of different knowledge to dispel to Jesse, and then he's like, "Feel free to tell anyone you've heard here what I've told you, because maybe it all is true, maybe it isn't."
I see that
You have nothing anyway, Jesse.
Republic Pictures put that movie out, so that definitely gives it a stamp of approval for me.
Oh, it's a legit movie with stars. I don't know how it's something that's not been picked up, re-released. Shout Factory, I'm begging you. I need my Roswell Blu-ray release here.
You know they're
Need
listening and writing down shit.
For the love of God, I need it. I need Roswell in a disc format, not some VHS quality tape. Which that's my tape, my dub tape here at home. Alien Autopsy. Then immediately after that, Roswell. Then after that, fuck off, Halloween 2. I need more Roswell.
We got High Ground Cantina says his tie-in is The Fourth Kind. Fourth
That's
Kind
a good
is
one
good.
too.
It's good.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, I specifically remember people telling me like, "Oh man, this footage is 100% real," and I'm like, "No, we went through this with Blair Witch. Like, it would be illegal to show this footage."
It's not legal, Bart. Come on, Bart, that's illegal.
But it is a very good, compelling film. But
Brian says Life Force, so that's definitely
titties.
It's not bad, but that's definitely after 8 p.m. Make sure the kids are not coming out while you're watching.
Matt O'Brien, I don't know if Matt O'Brien has children, but Evil and I, we'd have to wait until like 2:30 in the morning and fucking put up barriers.
My finger on the hair trigger of the channel changer or power button, because any moment someone might be thirsty.
Yeah, there's just constant bush in that movie. Everything.
It's glorious, but yeah. I gotta be watching it with one eye on the screen and one
Snarl
looking around.
says Super 8. That's another great movie. Have you seen Super 8, Evil?
I still have not pulled the trigger on Super 8.
Do that.
Painful.
It's real good. It's real good.
I damn near did because I had it on loan for a long time from mom's, and I never got to watching it. So I probably still have it from her on loan somewhere down here. So I may try to just dig it out and take that off the list since I'm done with alien stuff, at least for the time being, until we decide to delve back into this. But I've literally not had much on the watch list outside of alien shit for the past almost month, which has been awesome, by the way. It's been awesome. I'm definitely ready to move on to something else for at least
a little bit. Yeah, which next week we're doing a Patreon request live stream. So we will be covering Sinister next week. So,
which I believe I can probably, if I end up digging in, I can probably find some true crime-ish elements to that story, because that's an awesome movie. Never seen the sequel, but I do love Sinister. It's in the collection. It will be a fun live stream. Our plans have been moved back a little bit because somebody wanted us to cover that. So join on Patreon. You watching this? Want us to delve into something as hardcore as we're talking about this shit here? We got a price as well, man. Throw that coin down on Patreon, and we will cover whatever it is you want us to cover. It could be Fly Away Home.
Don't you ever do that. I have standards. I'm going to start putting a caveat on our fucking Patreon where it's only horror movies.
Cannot. Our only caveat is one film, and that's its own separate tier. But if someone wants to pay the price for us to talk Fly Away Home, I cannot confirm or deny we both have Blu-ray copies of that feature film.
Why would you tell the world that we own that movie?
Because I want the world to know. World, we own Fly Away Home.
I don't know why I did that, but either way.
Fly, pretty, fly.
Okay, well, now that we're done, well, I guess we should ask Remix what his tie-in would be, even though he has never seen Alien Autopsy.
I thought about it. I kind of had one, and then I realized, I would want something that really kind of keeps me in the documentary style, like the documentary mood, but I couldn't really find anything that I was really gunning for, so I just don't have a tie-in.
All right, that's fine. Fair enough.
I also thought the McPherson tape, but then I was like, that's not really a documentary. That's
supposed found footage. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to borrow my Stanton Friedman 4-hour VHS dual pack?
What? Hit the what button. Just hit the what button.
What?
No, hit the what button. There we go.
What? Stanton Friedman. Friedman. Stanton.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, lordy. Ooh,
trying to get into the Instagram.
Let's see, Species and the Faculty tie-ins. Yeah, because they're
that's not too shabby either.
Species is another After Dark film. No matter what. Yeah, because Natasha Henstridge is booty hole naked like 90% of that movie.
Booty hole.
But I guess it's 9:30, so you don't want to pull up Instagram yet? Not yet. Remix is doing things. So,
we'll just swap two bits around then. Instead of going immediately to the IG post, then we'll go into final thoughts realm on this documentary.
Sure.
Do we need to ask the question like we did with the Mothman Prophecies also with what do you think of the documentary? And is it fact or fiction? Your thoughts.
Again, I really, really want to believe in it. And
we all do.
My whole thought process on the entire thing, if they wouldn't have had Stan Winston on there, I might have been more inclined to just immediately jump to that's fake. But then I know you said that they kind of edited it in a way to make it seem favorable towards its legitimacy. So
more money and legitimacy.
Yeah, that's true. And that they even bring that up in the documentary saying, it hasn't been proven to be a hoax yet, but I'm sure it will. But by the time it is determined to be a hoax, the creator will have made his money.
race until he'll be having a money bath at home, which clearly it was way past like 2005 when he came out and said that the footage technically was false. So yeah, that dude was 100% right in that aspect.
So I guess the real question is, not necessarily is this footage real, because like you said, he came out and said it's not real. But the real question is, do we believe a flying saucer crashed in Roswell?
Is there footage out there that he did see that he's quote unquote restoring by making his own version of it?
I think that sounds like a load of bullshit, but you know what I mean? That really does sound like just a line.
Oh, it does.
It's a line of bullshit.
With that terminology, it totally reeks exploding levels of bullshit.
Mm-hmm. But I would like to believe that a UFO did crash. I would like to believe that there is something tucked away that the government knows more about than we do. And especially over the past like 2 years, we've been getting a lot of this stuff, like with the government being like, okay, this is real.
Testing waters.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I also, if we hadn't covered this now, like if we had covered this before we had shot Tapehead, with what happened to us, which we talk about on our podcast, the Deep Cut podcast, which if you're a Patreon, you can hear our newest episode where we talked about the making of our movie. But also in that podcast, which will go live for everybody across all podcast platforms next week, I did briefly discuss the fact that while we were shooting our movie, VHS Mikey, Remix, my wife and I did in fact see a UFO. And it is undisputable. It is undisputable what we saw. And Remix can back me up on it, because
if you go back and listen to some of our Patreon exclusive podcasts, and then you compare to the story of the most recent experience, they are entirely identical to some of the experiences we had back in 2010. Just this one took place at night with the fire in the sky, those crazy lights that everybody always talks about. This is my first experience with a UFO at nighttime, and it 100% resembles the time that I saw one down in Texas.
And the fact that Remix was so quick on the draw and pulling up Flight
Radar 24 is a great website to see all registered aircraft in the area, because you're not allowed to fly unless your aircraft is registered, and there was no aircraft within 100 miles of us.
At all. And we saw something that, again, you can't explain, so it is an unidentified flying object. 100% we
They're
saw
not called UFOs anymore. They're unidentified aerial phenomena.
I don't give a fuck what
UAPs.
But so again, had we covered this previously to that, I don't know. But having it so fresh in my mind that yeah, we fucking saw something that you can't definitively say what it is. So I'm inclined to lean more towards legitimacy. But I don't know how you feel, Evil. You've done the most research.
Don't know how I feel when I'm wearing a Roswell shirt, a Believe hat, and I have a giant UFO behind me.
Well, it's the same way with Mothman. It's your favorite, but 2 seconds into Mothman, you were like, that shit's fake as fuck, dog.
I still want to believe, clarification, I still want to believe that the Mothman is a thing, but I had to just go based off all the research I did, which I've slept since the Mothman live stream, but man, I probably did as much, if not more, deep diving on that than I did on this. But everything I kind of came up with on Mothman did not leave me to say definitively that I feel like it's a real story here. Mainly, it was the book. I remember the book was just a fucking acid trip of a book to listen to. But I still, of course, want to believe that Mothman is real. But this story, I do believe that something did happen out there. It totally could have been something otherworldly. And what's changed between me in 1995 watching this and 2021 me, almost 40, watching this, is now I can completely understand a military perspective being like, no, people are fucking crazy. They will lose their shit. Religion alone will be an absolute hair-pulling nightmare if you are suddenly absolutely confronted with there's life on other worlds. Like, religion alone will be an absolute chaos situation, especially in 1947. Things are getting a little bit more lax. I think that's what I think they did with releasing UFO footage in the past couple of years. Is I think the government is totally testing the waters, being like, how are people going to fucking react to news like this? And of course, it's not even in 2021. It's not even a blip on the radar. Hardly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go make a TikTok. I don't give a fuck. Like,
it slightly increases your YouTube algorithm and things you're looking for, but it doesn't. It didn't do anything. Like, that should have been earth-shattering level of stuff. Of course, they go into levels of saying, well, we're not saying it's alien. It's just what it is. It's unidentified. It's yet to be identified. So, and I've heard that the UFO crash at Roswell is referred to as both the benchmark moment in ufology and MUFON world, and it's also considered, LP on the left said, the boil on the ass of everything, being with this sloppy cover-up, which, whether you think it's real or not, the 3-story cover-up is just like, it reeks as much as Ray Santelli does of restoring artwork. Their balloon theories are just, it just doesn't hold any water for me. But I can understand why they would want to try to uphold that bullshit lie, because, again, you could, with either...
You upset the apple cart, man.
Yeah, either upsetting that with religion and otherworldly stuff, or I think maybe it's in this documentary or in another one where they mention, like, what if there's something in there that completely revamps how we view certain technology? Like, what if in the mid-90s we had no longer a need for oil at all? Like, that would really kind of be a damper on the entire infrastructure of the United States in the mid-90s. Getting a bit better now, but just, either hiding certain technology because we're not ready for it yet, or just the thought process entirely of we're not ready to understand we're not alone out there. But I, just like Mr. Frakes says, I do not believe we are alone. I do believe something happened out there. It's just it's in the details where it gets kind of fuzzy, but I do believe that something is out there. Something did happen here. I believe there is crash debris, bodies. I believe there is intelligence that has been gained from whatever it is that crashed and happened out there in 1947.
All right, Remix has got something to say. I see him over there.
One thing I didn't tell you guys, that same night, we were there at the filming location extremely late at night. I had wandered off to go investigate some noises that were happening,
This
completely
is true.
unrelated.
100%. I almost forgot about this.
So we had noises all around us in almost a 360 arc. And so I go to one location and immediately moves to another location, completely unrelated. So I'm staring up into the sky. There were other astronomical anomalies that night. There was a series of shooting stars that I had seen. And I can obviously say that what we saw was far too large to be a shooting star.
And way too fast.
Although, maybe perhaps what we saw was a shooting star headed straight for us, and it burnt up at like the perfect time to not hit us.
It was so big,
It's a balloon.
right?
Yeah, maybe it was literally fire in the sky.
So here's the thing too about this, which I totally forgot until you mentioned it. So yeah, we're
It
out,
was so big and so low.
but it's very late. It's very late, and we're set dressing our location, and this noise that we hear, at first, it was very like, because you remember the town. There's essentially not a town.
The road.
Yeah. So this noise that we hear, at first I'm thinking we're all outside working on the front of the location, and we hear this noise, and we're like, "What is that? Is that like a cat? Some kind of a weird, like a wailing." weird noise, right? But it carried. It had a lot of echo to it. And it was like, Remix was timing it at a certain point, and it was like every, 38 seconds?
32, 34, and 38.
He was like on it.
Yeah, it was almost consistent, but it was roughly under 40 seconds.
So then he is like, I'm going to go towards it. So he takes off. And we're all still working on this location, and we're like, well, this is the part in horror movies where someone dies. So he's toast. But he goes off, and, he just said it stopped making the noise in the direction he was heading and moved. But it was still in the interval of 32 to 35 seconds. Like, I don't know, dude. There was a lot of weird stuff going on. And then when this thing that was in the sky was coming at us. It was either matching or going faster than us, because we were heading to the location at about 60 miles an hour, and it was way low, and it flew right at us. And then it was almost like it stopped and just changed directions and just went away. It was...
I think that it could have been a perspective thing where it looked like it was floating in front of us, and it was just a really large space rock that was burning up in the atmosphere. And then, like, right once it kind of dissipates would be that moment where it looks like it kind of disappears. I think that could be like a super close experience with a meteorite almost colliding.
I don't
that would freak me out worse than
Smushed
what
by
actually
a fucking meteor. Before these go away, Chris Beretis says, I enjoyed the Invaders from Mars remake directed by Tobe Hooper. Yeah, not a bad movie in the slightest. Matt O'Brien says, I like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I have not seen that since I was a kid. I need to revisit it. What are your thoughts?
I need to watch that again myself.
On the Day the Earth Stood Still remake, I never saw that.
I haven't got to it, but it is actually sitting literally with Close Encounters disc upstairs on the entertainment center.
Nice.
I have them together.
And
I
then,
just need to, yeah.
Bloodbath and Beyond says, you guys rock, by the way. Your back and forth has a very Stuff You Should Know vibe. I don't know who Stuff You Should Know is, but I'll take it. Is our audio still working when we move to Instagram? Are we good?
I don't know who that is. I don't know. I just thought it was Stuff You Should Know. Like, oh, we're Stuff You Should Know.
Mikey
Here
says,
is some stuff you should
Mikey
know.
says we're awesome in person. Mikey's awesome in person.
That is a lie. That is a full-face lie.
I'm much shorter in person. That's one thing. That's the takeaway.
That's stuff you should know.
That is 100%. But
So
I'll
we won't
still
be able to
break your
zoom in.
fucking nose.
We are not impressive in person at all. We're barely impressive on the interwebs.
I
not
don't
at
think
all.
we're impressive at all. I'm just waiting for my motherfucking bolo tie, but that's a whole nother story, a whole nother time. But all right, we got Mikey with his Alien Autopsy.
Yeah, we won't be able to zoom in because we're not signed in.
Oh, that's sad.
So we can just scroll through.
Let's just scroll because we're not signed.
That
What is
is-
that,
that is
Werewolf on Nintendo? I don't know that game.
Werewolf.
Silver Bullet and the Howling.
I think that's VHS NES with the stack of X-Files VHS. Because I think I saw that earlier.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Boo beep boo beep beep boo. Hoodly hoodly.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
We don't have very much in the Instagram, but we're gonna scroll on through. Oh shit! Dead in Santa Carla's in the house. Says, "Look at these sexy motherfuckers." Brian, that's another dude who we just met in person, which we talked about in our newest podcast. But yeah, talk about us being less impressive in person. I think he was ready to run. Like, nah.
I love that his internal monologue was like, I don't know if I could pick these two guys out of a store if I walk in and see him there. And then, then he sees us and is like, yeah, I don't know how I can confuse those with anybody else.
Pootie Tang plus the stylist. Yeah, that's Evil's post.
That was my finds that day. I picked up Pootie Tang and the stylist. The one I didn't photograph. I also picked up 2 Mules for Sister Sarah on Blu-ray.
Let's also, since we're here, let's give a quick shout out to our buddy and local filmmaker Jill Six, who just released The Stylist. And if you guys don't know about The Stylist, please do us a favor. Open up an Amazon tab, buy that movie.
Watch the trailer for it. The trailer will probably sell you because it's a very very intriguing trailer that is out for it.
Definitely support independent local cinema.
It's out on Arrow Blu-ray right
Which
now.
is
Also
fucking
DVD
amazing.
as well. It's crazy to comprehend.
Yeah, it's blowing my mind, but I'm so beyond proud of Jill, who which I talked about in the podcast, so I'm not gonna say too much of it, but it's just super cool because she's been working on The Stylist. It was a short film a couple years back, and she's just been talking about wanting it to be a feature, and it's finally a feature, and fucking Arrow put it out. So
Yeah.
So if you support us, support her. Go buy that movie. Tell her you heard about it from 3B Video.
Hey, give us a little bit of credit.
Give a
for
little
me,
bit of
Mike.
credit for
Just a little.
But yeah, she's super talented, and she's gonna take the horror world by storm. I think people better be ready. So, and then Snarl says Clarence Williams III. Yeah, rest in peace, man. We're still trying to get over that. I'm not having a good time with that. Which happened on was that the day we wrapped?
Tapehead? I was leaving town. Like you guys were still filming. I had to leave that Sunday, and I was like, I got to send this. I always got to be the one to find out first thing. I was like, I got to break the news to Raj that we lost another horror legend icon, excellent, fucking amazing actor, and Mr. Clarence.
Yeah, stud in everything he does. And
Absolutely.
Most notably, because we constantly quote Tales from the Hood, but dude, his filmography is a million miles long. So put on your favorite Clarence Williams III movie.
Yeah, very much in the same vein of like Clint Howard, of like just a million credits and little things here and there. Definitely somebody like as soon as you see him, you're like, that guy. He's one of those that guy actors.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Clint Howard, he totally liked my Instagram post the other day, and I had to screen cap it because I was like, holy shit. The Ice Cream Man. The motherfucking most handsome man in Hollywood liked my post.
Yeah, the prettiest man in all of Hollywood is like one of your things. And we're like, we still want to get our money from him because not only do we enjoy Ice Cream Man, did we own DVDs of it, we own the Blu-ray release of it, and still watch it, and have live streamed about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I'll give money to anyone that owns a copy or watch this movie. Like, not only do we watch it and own it, but we've double dipped to do so.
Well,
and then talked about it for 2 hours.
Let's also not forget that the genesis of this show was originally called the Tuna and Racer Show because we love the Ice Cream Man so fucking much.
It was. That was the working title from Jump Street. Was that? It's what it is now. But that was the origins of everything.
Oh man, we got Derek Ivansick in the house. He says, "What's up, gang? Well, we're just wrapping up our Alien Autopsy coverage. We just took a quick look at Instagram, even though it was being a butthead because we're not signed in. And I'm not going to do that on air, so I'll sign in and we'll check it out again next week. But we did our final thoughts. We're in our last 7 minutes of the live stream. So again, next week we're going to be doing a Patreon live stream. We're going to be covering Sinister. So this week, revisit Sinister, get refamiliarized with it. Yeah, and we'll blow the fucking roof off this bad boy next week. The Ethan Hawke vehicle.
Absolutely. Have we convinced Remix? Are you convinced into watching this Alien Autopsy Fact or Fiction special? Do you want to check it out?
No. No, I'm good with it. I would rather explore something that is certifiably uncertifiable. Things that there's no concrete evidence that it is fake or real. All the Roswell, New Mexico stuff is generally accepted to be a hoax. A lot of people involved in this situation have admitted that they falsified information or changed the facts in some sort of way.
Do you then, if you're not interested in watching the Alien Autopsy Fact or Fiction special, what do you think happened in Roswell in 1947 on July 3rd?
He thinks a weather balloon.
Yeah,
crashed.
anything in New Mexico generally ends up being Area 51 experiments, such as the crashed SR-71, this weird Mylar bullshit, which I did bring up. I didn't bring it up, but I did get the 6-fingered control panel. I'll bring that up now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is another. It's just a weird thing. Like, I know you off air. You were saying
It looks like bullshit.
it looks fake, but
It looks so different from everything else. It looks way too clean, way too, like...
well, here's the thing about with the alien autopsy in general. You know, the injury that the alien has sustained. They say, well, that shouldn't have been a fatal injury, but the Evil already brought it up. Like, you never know how they react to our atmosphere, type of deal, just like signs, you know. But they also say that injury seems to be consistent with some sort of explosion, like a fire.
But at the same time, you know, a common thing with UFOs is they never have what they can find as a propulsion spot. Like, there's nothing, when you see these UFOs take these sharp fucking turns and shit, there's nothing that shows where it has like the engine part of it, where it should be blowing it in that direction. So what is this thing even really running on? Would it run on any? Does it have any chemical compositions in it that would warrant it being an explosion?
Mm-hmm.
What do two UFOs colliding together or one smashing into the ground even look like? Does it look like how we would think like a plane smashing into the ground, or would it be like if you took literally like a plate and threw it against another plate? Like what necessarily are the components of a UFO that what would it look like when, you know, it explodes or
Right.
smashes into something?
So
Don't know.
So this is one of those things where you go, maybe this is a piece that managed to stay intact during the crash. And the other thing, which we haven't pulled up pictures of, really, was some of the debris that has the weird hieroglyphics on it. That's another thing.
I couldn't really find that, and the only thing I could find is like drawings, and they look nothing like any of the other quote-unquote materials found at the crash site.
Well, and also I'm thinking that, like, just like the autopsy itself, this is Santelli's reconstruction of the debris. So this isn't what the debris probably looked like 100%. Just like how the I-beam is like several inches wide and looks to be engraved on the video, but then when you look at Jesse Marcel Jr. talking about it, I mean it's like thinner than a ruler, and it's not engraved. The hieroglyphics that he saw, literally, like, just if you caught the light a certain way, you could see
Right.
it, and that's engraved. So there could be the artists taking liberties there with this footage, much like the I-beam is which the hand panels.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of room for debate.
Oh yes, that's why it's still being talked about 70 plus years beyond when it happened.
Which I tend to think that the way that they explain it in the documentary, with it being some sort of almost like a telepathic link to being able to steer. I really like that explanation, and I like the idea of the hand panels. Yeah. It seems otherworldly, as opposed to, he's sitting up there with a fucking trucker hat, steering a fucking steering wheel. You know what I mean? Like, what we do is so fucking archaic, and I would fucking love to just believe that this is legit. I would love it.
It follows that logic that I've heard of, like, well, why don't they just come down here and explain, who they are, what they are, all that stuff? And it's like,
I wouldn't bother. It's like if you try to explain yourself to your dog. Dog ain't gonna understand. You can't understand me.
So here's some of the hieroglyphics.
But at least we interact with the dog. Like, even cows and ants, we interact with the cows and we interact with the ants. We step on the ants.
I know,
and we
but
fuck
you're
the
like trying to explain why you are how you are to a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Is like talking to the wall.
But literally, you would interact with the dog.
Yes, but
Yeah,
so
interact with
let's.
They're not interacting with us.
Remix is our moral compass. As always, he always has been. He always will be. He does
He's
not
the
believe
voice
in this.
of logic
Yeah, he doesn't
when we
believe
want
in
to
this shit.
be illogical.
So you looking at these pictures, this is your first time seeing them. You just pulled them up. What I want an honest first impression of this. What are you thinking? I just want to know, like, does it look like any type of language or any you know what I'm saying? Like, you're well versed in a lot of that stuff. You're a very smart person, and we're just a couple.
There's no
of dudes.
clear like imagery of it. Like, the cuts are super uniform on the quote unquote breaks. The metal is a different color from the other metals. It's just all strange. It doesn't really fit.
So, and here's the other thing, which, I mean, we're out past 10 o'clock, but I don't care. I gotta say it. You know, because we haven't done like a serial killer month, but we will. I swear to God we will, because I'm that's another thing. But when it comes to like ciphers, okay, so like a Son of Sam type of deal, or a Zodiac type of deal, right? There's always some basis. There's some for the symbols in some form of alphabet. And so when you look at this, it's almost like there are two symbols that repeat, the first and the last symbol, but they're backwards on the middle picture. Okay, so which could be.
I mean, they're all
something like what,
like that too.
Yeah, that's true. So
it's literally three in the middle that are different.
And so
than the rest.
You start to think when stuff doubles, that it's like a vowel, right? And that's where that whole breaking the cipher comes from. You start to, if something repeats, or you know, multiple times, is in the middle of a word, then you start trying to figure out which vowel it is, and then you work outwards. And looking at this, it makes me want to. I just need more. I need more letters. You know what I'm saying? I need more letters.
There's also a ton of conflicting information on it as well. I've got multiple different pictures of the I-beams, and they're all different. I'll bring up another one.
Snarl says it's Bam Margera's secret language.
That's the thing you have with 600 different eyewitness accounts and eyewitness accounts that are taking place.
Ooh.
Even if you start in 1978, that's 30 years from when incident happened, and it's just getting further and further out.
This is interesting. Remix just brought up a.
Yeah, but it conflicts with what we previously looked at. If you look at the first and last characters, they're triangles instead of the strange W shape.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
they're also
true.
different on the Roswell I-beam translation just before the Greek language. All the information conflicts in some way. I've got another one. This one doesn't even show the Greek-looking characters.
See, this is the skinny one. That is the skinny one that is believed to be the real one, right? The big one is the one that they show in the footage that's like the recreated beam.
So what's the point of all these recreations?
It's to restore what he initially saw in the supposed quote-unquote real autopsy footage.
Yeah, but that's a different situation. The autopsy footage was quote-unquote bad or destroyed. What about these I-beams? Have they gone missing? Why are we using...
They've been taken. The government...
They're all part of like when you get those Freedom of Information Acts that Stanton Friedman is super like... He was anxious as shit anytime you would ask him about him to show all these redacted like printout papers where he's like it gets ridiculous where it's an entire page of shit and it's just everything is blacked out. Like, where are all the reports on the crash? Where are the autopsy reports? Where is all this information? Film was taken, footage was taken, all this stuff exists, just where the hell is it and why can't we get our hands on it? Well, I know why we can't get our hands on it, but where is it?
Yeah. That's the great mystery. And that's, we knew we weren't going to solve that in 2 fucking hours. And we were just going to end up leaving here with more questions.
What if?
Yeah.
The stuff that pisses me off, too, is that some people are like, the CIA confirmed that the Roswell Autopsy was real, and it's like, where the fuck are you getting this information? I was literally reading through documents released by CIA.gov. I was going through CIA documents. They're probably still on here somewhere.
I'm getting put on a list.
90% of UFO investigations in the 40s and 50s were deemed inadmissible. They're completely unrelated to anything that could be alien. 10% of all investigations were somehow related to something that could be considered alien, and 95% of that is explainable some other way. And they think that the other 5% is like Cuban stuff. So it's like
that's a MUFON's entire like MO is it's like 90% of this shit is totally explainable and has a reason behind it, but they're always going to be like, yeah, but that 10%, man. Mm-hmm. What about that 10%?
There's too much stuff muddying the waters on this, with people being like, I gotta recreate it, and here are the symbols, but you can translate these symbols because they're slightly similar to Greek and Roman alphabet, but that's not at all what they look like before.
Yeah. So it's, again, we're never going to solve it.
I solved it, it's fake.
Until someone comes out and just flat out lays it all out for us. But
the CIA said it was real.
I say it's real.
It's a balloon.
It is not a goddamn balloon. We're going to be here all night. No, we're not, because it's past 10 o'clock, guys. We had our triumphant return. It's up to you guys what you believe, because I think Evil and I are still on the side of the fence, believing in it. Remix is trying to shut us down. I'm going to keep believing.
Aliens real. This Roswell stuff is inconclusive, and I'd say it's inadmissible in a court of law because the way that the evidence was acquired is not kosher.
You know what?
It's been tainted.
I will still take all of that as victory. Victory for us is it's not a definite no. It's that total gray area. Gray area, gray aliens. Coincidence? I think not.
Hi, my name's Mikey, and it's my goal to turn my home into my own private video store. When I started this channel, I only had a handful of tapes. And now I can swim through them like I'm a VHS Scrooge McDuck. On my channel, we're going to pay our respects to the last remaining video stores. We'll review some VCR tech. And we'll probably build some stupid stuff out of VHS tapes. The VHS community is the best around. And dudes, I can't wait to meet you guys.
I've been the verbal Norman Bates since 1998. Sick of all the hate, I'm about to kill them all today. I'm a hip-hop fusion with screws that are loosen, genre abusing, vomit on blueprints. You couldn't box me in a coffin, locked in. I'm the monster from the trioxin toxin. Don't forget it, I'm a sick, twisted idiot, killing off little kids, say I'm out revision it. Get it, bitch, I'm a Camp Crystal Lake type, waiting late night, get you with a steak knife. Verbal monster, yeah, you know the rest of it. Crash your slumber party, make a mess of it. I'm on some driller killer maniac ill shit. Duct tape, shovels, drill bits. Say I'm not hip-hop and it's a feud. I'm in a troll 2 mood and you bitches are booed. You don't want it with me because I'm coming and I will not stop until you all are running. I'm bringing the pain, stomping out brains, killing these lames, cause I am a monster. I am the man with the visions of death, the bringer of stress, the killer of flesh, the illest and yes, I'm filling requests, so tell me who's next, cause I am a monster. Yeah, they live, Roddy Piper wasn't lying, I'm about to get violent, so much being silent. I'm a proper blend of attitude and essence, letting out aggression with my vocals as a weapon. So much cookie cutter crap that these kids are calling rap. I just sit back and laugh while they call me an ass, and I'm supposed to just take it, watch you fake it like you're so amazing. I'm the slaughterer known as the monster that's coming for all of you. Pray to your father. cause I'm sick of all the lame rhymes. I'd kill 99% of you with one line. One lawnmower strapped to my chest plate. Now that's the best way to leave a mess of dead weight. And so it's said I'm the Voorhees of the rap game. Overstay my welcome, but still leaving cats slain. You don't want it with me because I'm coming, and I will not stop until you all are running. I'm bringing the pain, stomping out brains, killing these lanes, cause I am a monster.